Hi, welcome to my channel, Warbow KTB Archery, previously KTB IOM. Um, Today I just wanted to talk about the benefits of archery. I did a video a while back about why Korean bows, and I explained there, how I got into archery and so forth. But I wanted to cover the benefits of archery in this video. And there's a number of benefits. I think archery is a very good sport. It's good discipline, even a good martial art to practice. And for me, especially, Asiatic bows, and in specific, Korean bows. So this here is my Songmugung SMG, um, um, and it has and Songmugung was founded by Master Park Do-min, because he had a passion for archery unlike no other. And I read an article where he's saying that when he was young, he used to work in a farm, and he got injured. His back was injured, and he couldn't do normal activity. But then he started doing archery, and little by little, he managed to heal his back and became a very passionate bowyer and creator of bows. He founded SMG Songmugung in 1993 and has been producing bows since then. He retired about maybe 8 to 10 years ago now, and I'm not sure about what's happened to him since then. I've heard rumours that he's passed away, which is quite sad. But he's left a legacy of really good bows, behind him. But it was his story about how he healed his back with archery that inspired me. I've also suffered with bad back and shoulders trouble. I've got a slight scoliosis as well, and I've spent years going to chiropractors, having sort of a sports massage, trying to sort of untangle knots and relieve, really pressure in the spine, getting clicks and all that done. And for years, must have done about 10, 15 years of, monthly visits to the chiropractor, trying to sort of relieve the pain. And even through COVID, working, having a desk job, sat on a laptop, working at the table, my back and shoulders got really, really sore to the point I'd have to take a break every now and then and lie on the floor to just try and just stretch my back out and release tension. And that's been a theme for most of my adult life. Back pain, shoulder pain, headaches, tension headaches, and all because of my back. And since I took on archery in almost 3 years now, all that's gone away. That archery has helped strengthen my back, has helped sort of stretch out my shoulders. I can now actually sort of release and click my back just by moving my shoulders, my arms. I can do it while I'm in bed sleeping. I can relax and then tense, and I can hear a click, and then it goes back to normal. And it's really had a really, really positive effect on me. I even saw an article in France where the French medical system is recommending prescribing archery as to people as well, to get them outdoors. And that's so, apart from the physical strength, the training, the using muscles that you wouldn't normally use to do archery, and especially with Korean bows, Asiatic bows, because you're doing um, pulling and pushing, and your draw is much, much longer than Western archery, target archery. It sort of engages more of your back, and then of course the higher the weight bows you're going, the more you need to build strength and tendons and everything. So it all kind of works together to sort of helps you stand up straighter, um, gives you sort of, it's improves your well-being, tremendously. So, and from that, it helps your mental health. On a day like this, we're in the middle of November, and look at it, sunshine, mild weather. It's absolutely gorgeous here. So you're out in nature. It helps you connect with the seasons. It has for me, it has had a lot of benefits, apart from the physical, the mental side, and then on the sort of the emotional, spiritual side as well. This archery has aspects of meditation where you need to be able to focus on the shot. You can't. For me, I can't really think about it. I'm not very good at aiming by thinking, calculating distances, and that. I kind of like to, get into position and then, feel where I am there, and then, when I think it's right to release, I release. And sometimes I miss, sometimes I don't, but I don't stress about that. I'm not after points. I'm not after too fussed about accuracy. I believe that accuracy happens from practice and consistent shooting. So the more I shoot, the more accurate I get. But if I start at the beginning, when I started worrying about accuracy, my shooting would get worse, and the worse my shooting got, the worse I'd feel, and it creates a vicious cycle. So now I shoot because it makes me happy. It feels good, and when I miss, I don't really care that much. I missed, so what? Shoot again. There's no don't be hard on yourself. When you miss, think about why you missed, or try and feel what happened in that shot. Maybe your elbow was out a bit, or maybe your arm was not quite in the right position, or maybe you felt a bit hurried and you just released too early, or maybe your finger got in the way because you didn't have enough string twist. So there's all these little things, but little by little, if you focus on good release, good position, good stance, man jack, and then and your breathing as well, because everything kind of works together. And with heavy bows as well, I found that breathing helps. You take a deep breath as you draw the bow. That helps stabilize your chest, your rib cage, and then you can hold more weight on the bow on your actual skeletal structure. Whereas if you didn't have a hold your breath, everything could collapse because you haven't got anything inside of you to hold everything tense. So it's there's a lot, but yeah. So I want to say is, if you ever get a chance to do archery, or you find a club near you, give it a try, because it has a lot of benefits. It's really fun. There's something primal about it. Humanity has been doing archery for about 65,000 years. They found arrowheads and in all sorts, in all continents, in all places. It's a universal thing that humanity has learned to do. Thousands and thousands of years before we had bread, before we had dogs, before we had farming, before we had religion. You know, Archery is something that is inherent to every human alive today, because at some point in the last 65,000 years, one of our ancestors survived because they were able to defend themselves with a bow, or they were able to hunt and provide food with a bow. And I think that is carried in our genetics, and we're all descendants of successful archers. So, and that for me, it feels like a connection with the past. Something, you know, that is, you won't understand that feeling until you try it. It's something quite special. So thank you for watching. I hope you try archery. It's never too late to try. I've started in my 50s. Some kids can start, when they're 10, 8, whatever, and you can do archery well into your 80s and beyond. So, it's never too late to try. You can do it standing, you can do it on a wheelchair, you can do it, there's even if you watch the Paralympics, you'll see some amazing archers there that can shoot amazingly, you know, without using their arms. It's it's a sport that is open to everybody. It can be very, very inclusive, and there's always a niche that you can do. So I'm doing Korean archery. I'm also doing heavy bows. So I'm doing heavy bows and Korean archery. So if you think about archery being a niche sport, and then Asiatic thumb draw being a niche of that sport, and then Korean bows being a niche of that sport further, and then heavy bows as well being another niche. I'm a niche of a niche of a niche of a niche sport. So, this channel might not appeal to everybody, but, you know, there is, at the bottom of it, it's archery, and it's shooting a stick with another stick and a string, and that's the basic of it. Whether it's more sophisticated or not, at the end of the day, it's all the same kind of thing. So thank you for watching. Try archery, and see you next time. Bye bye.